local all morning. The Fox 61 Morning News starts now.
We've been here in Wethersfield for 4 years, and I don't even have words.
Right now at 6 o'clock, police say a high school student was assaulted while waiting for the bus. Now community members speaking out.
And we're following breaking news from overnight. Authorities responding to a rollover crash in Berlin. Lauren Zinzi is standing by with the latest.
And the world mourning and remembering Queen Elizabeth II. What is next for the monarchs and King Charles III?
And good morning to you. Happy Friday. Thanks so much for spending your morning with us here at Fox 61 America Areas.
And I'm Keith McGilvery. Of course, we had that as breaking news yesterday that the Queen was ill. That development unfolding throughout the day into the afternoon. We'll have more on that throughout the morning. A lot of folks are talking about it, but we do want to talk about the weather as well.
Yes, it has been nice seeing all the tributes. Of course, you're going to have more, but we're checking in with Matt Scott. A lot of people getting ready.
Yeah, good morning.
To head outside.
You think about it, 70 years leading in the UK. That's almost a third of how old the U.S. is. Long time when you think about it. Good morning to you. Here's what you need to know around here. Sunny streak continues. Beautiful weather. Nothing to worry about. Warmer weather on tap for the weekend as we turn up the heat and then slowly turn up the humidity. The rain returns into forecast, but first, the weekend. We'll talk about that coming up. 56 degrees at 6 o'clock in Hartford, 59 in New Haven, 58 in Groton. Look at these dew points. They are dry, comfortable weather today. And as you can see on the tracker, that's the way it's going to stay throughout the day. Towards the nighttime, we'll turn it up a little bit, but still keep those windows open tonight. North and northeasterly wind will be good for a couple of clouds, mainly on the eastern side of the state, but really just a beautiful way to wrap up the week. 60 degrees for the high schoolers this hour, 84 later on as the kids are getting off the bus, and that sets up for a lovely night of Friday Night Lights football. UConn's looking good weather-wise for Syracuse, and just about everything for the weekend. We're going to tell you about everything coming up. All right, let's go to traffic right now. Lauren Zenzi had some trouble on I-95, but it's better now, right?
Yeah, things have improved significantly. Before we get to that, I want to bring you out in the capital city region. Let's bring you out to the Berlin Turnpike right now in the town of Berlin. There is a pretty serious crash on the northbound side of the Berlin Turnpike. One lane is closed at this time. Let's take a look at some video our photographer was able to get on scene. Fire and police crews on scene. It was a rollover vehicle. You could see just how significant the presence is there. There was a lot of stuff sprinkled onto the side of the Berlin Turnpike. Not quite sure. We did hear from police that there were serious injuries involved. DOT is reporting that it is a two-car crash, but our photographer was not able to see a second vehicle, so we are working to get clarification on that. Like I said, this is right on the Berlin Turnpike on that northbound side. One lane is operational on the northbound side at this time. Let's bring it right back out to the map so we can see what else we have going on the roads. This is that crash that Matt was talking about down in Fairfield County over in Bridgeport. Things have now since cleared. It's what it's looking like right now on the northbound side, which is the right-hand side of your screen. You can see traffic is moving freely now. It was closed down for about 20 minutes due to a vehicle fire, but it has since reopened. Now traffic is moving smoothly for the morning commute. In the Hartford area, 91, 84, Route 2, all looking good for the morning commute. We'll check back in coming up in the next half hour, but for now, guys, I'll send things back over to you. Good morning.
Lauren, good morning to you. Thanks so much. All right, right now, 6:03, Wethersfield police are on the lookout for a suspect this morning after they say someone robbed and assaulted a student at a bus stop on Thursday.
This all happening on Maple Street, and that's where we find Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc this morning with what we know so far. Julia, a frightening experience there for that community and that individual for sure.
Absolutely, and especially for parents now that they have to send their kids to school again today. But we know that there will be an increased police presence in this area to just make sure that everybody is safe today. Now, police tell us this all happened at 7 o'clock in the morning yesterday while a Wethersfield high schooler was simply waiting for their bus right along Maple Street here, right near 856 Maple Street, which is the assisted living community, if you know this area well. Now, that high schooler was waiting for the bus, and then someone drove by, got out of the car, and then assaulted the student and then stole their cell phone. Now, police say the thief didn't use a weapon, but the teen did get injured, though they were not sent to the hospital. Now, before police could get here to the scene, the suspect drove off. And of course, the community is just trying to process this whole thing.
I don't even have words. You always, when you're a parent, you always think that, no, not my kid. And unfortunately, yeah, somebody's child.
Or sibling.
Yeah, or sibling, yep.
Now, the Wethersfield superintendent is responding to the incident, saying in part, quote, "The incident provides a reminder of the importance of being vigilant of surroundings, waiting for school buses in groups, and having alert neighbors. Keeping an eye out around bus stops are ways to maintain a safe environment and be alert to any danger." Now, police tell us that this was an isolated incident, and they do not believe that the public is at risk at this time. However, they are, of course, looking for that suspect right now. They say they believe the person was in a gray SUV. If you were in the neighborhood, if you have any Ring cameras or video, you're asked to please call police. We are live in Wethersfield. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61 News.
All right, Julia, thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll check back in a little bit. And a Waterbury this morning where parents are speaking out and demanding answers from Durham bus services. A lot of them telling Fox 61 that their buses haven't been properly picking up and dropping off elementary school students, meaning some don't show up in the morning, others are dropping off students in the wrong locations in the afternoon after school. One mom says that her 4-year-old daughter was one of the kids dropped off. She says a stranger happened to notice her standing all by herself and thankfully, fortunately, stepped in.
And she just stayed right there. Someone's parent looked at her tag that was on her and they called me and told me that my daughter was dropped off there and the bus driver just left her there.
Now, she says her daughter was wearing a lanyard with a big sign with her name and exact bus stop, something that she says the bus driver failed to look at. A corporate spokesperson with Durham Bus Services told us that they're updating their routing information and sent apologies to those families affected. But I can see and understand that mom's frustration and concern. And this morning, the world continues to mourn with the United Kingdom on the passing of Queen Elizabeth II.
She died peacefully at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. She was 96 years old, just incredible. It was her summer home, which had great significance to the monarch. And this morning, we want to take you to the UK, a live look across the pond as we see folks gathering outside Balmoral, some 500 miles or so from the palace in London. Mourners here continuing to share their condolences, flowers, and folks just gathering, kind of looking back at what was just an incredible life here.
Well, first happening later today, King Charles III will address the people of the United Kingdom. At a time of crisis, the monarch is typically a source of strength, calm, and comfort for the public. For the last 70 years, they've looked to Queen Elizabeth, and now they're going to look to Charles, who himself is mourning his mother's death. Now, Charles automatically became king upon the passing of his mother. The notice of her death was hung on the gates outside of the palace yesterday afternoon. In a statement later, King Charles III said it's, quote, "a moment of the greatest sadness for me and all members of my family." Charles added that the Queen's death will be felt all over the world. And in case you were wondering about the royal family line of succession, following King Charles III, the line of succession will then continue with his firstborn child, Prince William, Duke of Cornwall and Cambridge, followed by Prince William's children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis.
And a beautiful sign of hope for the UK. Check this out in the middle of your screen. A few hours after the Queen's death, this video showing a rainbow over Buckingham Palace as mourners place bouquets at the same gates where that simple death announcement was posted yesterday. And meantime, people continuing to pay respects to the Queen, leaving flowers. As we said, we just saw live pictures there from Balmoral. Some video from there as well, a close-up shot there, a beautiful gesture, and there are the gates to the palace. Just these huge crowds unfolding really since that announcement was initially made.
Yeah, mourners continue to gather right outside Buckingham Palace. Today begins an official 12-day period of national mourning in the UK. The carefully planned series of events leading up to her funeral, code-named London Bridge. Among the people trying to heal the UK is newly appointed Prime Minister Liz Truss.
Queen Elizabeth II provided us with the stability and the strength that we needed. She was the very spirit of Great Britain, and that spirit will endure.
And Truss was one of the last high-ranking government officials to have met with the Queen. Now, here at home, the Empire State Building was lit up in tribute to the late Queen Elizabeth. New York City sending its condolences across the pond. The structure illuminated purple lights and sparkled in silver in her honor.
And flags are flying at half-staff at the U.S. Capitol and the White House. President Joe Biden ordering the flags lowered after news of Her Majesty's passing. A tribute here in the United States for sure.
And yesterday, the President and First Lady stopped by the British Embassy to share their condolences before their scheduled trip to Maryland. They brought flowers and taking time to sign a condolence book for Her Majesty. Later that night at the Democratic National Committee event, President Biden remembering the Queen's life.
She was an incredibly gracious and decent woman. And the thoughts and prayers of the American people are with the people of the United Kingdom.
And here in Connecticut, tributes continue to pour in,
including Governor Lamont saying in part, quote, she was a fine leader guiding her nation through a time of immense change and turmoil. Today, we honor her life and her legacy. Here's a fact that some may not remember. Nearly 50 years ago, the Queen made a visit here to the Elm City as she was touring New England.
And I was not aware. Yeah. We have some great photos here. These were shot by Jean Gorlick, who was a photographer at that time for the New Haven Register. The Queen arrived on the Royal Yacht Britannia July 10th, 1976, part of the Queen's visit to the United States for the nation's bicentennial celebration.
I remember it well. The bicentennial celebration was big for the entire summer, you know. And to think that the Queen would come to New Haven was pretty incredible.
Governor Lamont directed flags lowered to half-staff in honor of Queen Elizabeth.
All right, we know that this is big news. It is something that a lot of folks are talking about today, and we have the opportunity, as we do each morning, to be live and local through 11 a.m. So as new developments come in on this front, we will bring them to you. If you're on the go, we are as well. Breaking news right to your cell phone. You can scan the QR code there on your screen and get all the information you need to learn about the story that Erica was just talking about as well, her 1976 visit here to our state. More information right there at your fingertips.